We're in the middle of June and it's the perfect time to do a mid-year reset. Last year around the same time, I lost 40 pounds in 4 months and I documented the majority of my journey on this channel. Now I went from about 40% body fat to around 30% body fat, and even though I looked very similar to how I did in the past when I lost weight previously, I still really was not as happy because 30% body fat is still very high. So for the last couple of months, I've been doing a series, my fat loss journey series, to help me to decrease my body fat to maybe my lower 20s. But I wanted to give you all some really good weight loss tips, not just to look better but feel better as well. First things first, you want to prioritize your sleep. Now usually when I do any of these sit down videos, I mention sleep later on in the video, but I have found that so many people are trying to lose weight and to get healthy and they are just neglecting their sleep. When it is you actually prioritize at least 7 to 9 hours of good quality sleep, it helps you to balance out some of your hormones. I know a lot of people talk about your cortisol, your ghrelin, your leptin and all of these hormones, but it is true, if it is that you're not getting good quality sleep, you are increasing your cortisol levels. Your ghrelin, which is your hunger hormone, actually increases more when it is you don't sleep, and your leptin, which is your satiety hormone, decreases. So when it is you eat, you are not satisfied. When it is you deprive yourself of sleep, you have a high likelihood of waking up the next morning, you're feeling groggy, you're feeling tired, and you definitely have a lot more cravings. And it's not cravings for the healthy stuff, a carrot or a cucumber. You really tend to crave the highly processed stuff, the sugary stuff and the sweet stuff, which means that more than likely you're going to overeat and overconsume, and obviously that is going to affect you with your weight loss. Now when it comes to having a proper sleep routine and a proper sleep schedule, you have to try your best to get some wind down time in the evening when it is you're doing your nighttime routine. The thing that you are actually more in control of is when you wake up in the morning. So if it is that you set your alarm to wake up 5 o'clock or to wake up 6 o'clock, get up at that time every single morning. Over time, your circadian rhythm will actually adjust and you will naturally tend to wind down in the night at a particular time and then actually wake up at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock or whenever you're supposed to wake up in the morning. It may take some time. Maybe decide, here's what, you will do a little extra half an hour to an hour until you actually get your 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Don't feel as though one particular week, if you're only sleeping for 5 hours, try to rush for 9 hours next week. Don't do that. Your body will take time to adjust, but you need to prioritize your sleep if it is that you are on your weight loss journey. You also want to track the amount of calories that you consume every single day. Now I know some people don't like to hear this. They feel as though tracking their calories can be very triggering and annoying, but here's the thing. I always tell persons you do not need to do it for weeks and weeks or even months. Maybe about 2 to 3 weeks. Download the MyFitnessPal app or any other free apps. The MyFitnessPal app has a free version. You just put in your information. You want to measure the things you want to manage so that you can track your progress over time. If it is that you have no idea what you are eating and you find it very hard to lose weight and you don't know why you're not losing weight, there's a high possibility that you are just eating too much food. A lot of persons, they eat very similar breakfast, lunch and dinner, maybe 4 to 5 main things that they usually like having. Just put it into the MyFitnessPal app and see how much you are actually eating. You don't need to be in a huge calorie deficit. Just be consistent, be disciplined, and you will see progress over time. Now what makes being in a calorie deficit a lot easier is having a high protein diet. Now I know a lot of people talk about high protein snacks, high protein meals, high protein coffee. Everything is high protein, high protein. And the thing is, it could be a little annoying to see it. I put it in a lot of my videos, but the truth of the matter is, if you are on your weight loss journey, protein is so important. Make sure that you're having around 1 gram of protein per pound of your ideal body weight. So for example, if it is that you are around 200 pounds but your ideal body weight is closer to 130 pounds, try your best to have 130 pounds of 130 grams of protein every single day. I always say try to front load your protein, eat around 30 to 40 grams of protein in your main meals, with breakfast, lunch, dinner, and even when you're having little snacks, make sure that they are also high in protein as well. The thing with protein is that you have to be very careful when you see persons labeling snacks or protein bars or any type of food high protein. I did a few clips and I did mention how to see if a food is really high protein, but just very quickly I will explain. If it is that a particular snack or food has maybe 300 calories and they say, okay, but this has 10 grams of protein, that is not really a high protein food or snack, because if it is that you add a 0 to the 10, that's like 100, and if you compare 300 calories to 100, that 3-to-1 ratio is way too low. Now if it is that they say it had 30 grams of protein, you add a 0 to the 30, so 300 to 300 is more of a 1-to-1 ratio. What you're looking at is getting those numbers to be very, very close together. If it is the amount of protein, well, you add the 0 in terms of grams, is very close to the calories that you're eating per serving, then it's considered a high protein. So if something is saying, oh, this has 30 grams of protein, but it has maybe 600 calories, that is not very high. The protein itself may seem high because 30 grams of protein is actually a lot of protein, but also consider how much calories you are consuming for that amount of protein. 600 calories for only 30 grams of protein is not the best option to make. So focus on your protein. It's going to keep you fuller for longer and it's going to keep you satiated. Now another thing that I guess is very popular now is the high fiber meals, and again there is some value to it. When it comes to your weight loss journey, you really do want to focus on your gut microbiome, your gut health, and fiber. When it is you eat all of these fibers, the soluble, the insoluble, it really does help you out with your gut health. You want to make sure that you're focusing on a lot of the fruits and vegetables. Now I usually don't like to promote a lot of supplements because some of the very fruits and the vegetables and the foods that you eat, you can get your probiotics and prebiotics from it. Make sure that you're having your fermented foods for your gut microbiome. Have your sauerkraut, have your kimchi, have your plain Greek yogurt. Make sure that you're drinking your kombucha. All of these things are going to help you out with your gut microbiome. You don't necessarily have to buy all of these supplements. The fruits will give you, the berries will give you the antioxidants, the fruits will give you the fiber to help you out with your gut. And of course, fiber also helps to keep you full, so that is key when it comes to your weight loss journey as well. So you don't feel like you're starving. Yes, being in a calorie deficit, there are times where you may have a little lower energy, but you don't have to feel as though you're starving when you're on your weight loss journey. You want to make sure that you are hydrated, drinking sufficient amounts of water. I tend to drink around 80 to 90 ounces of water. Now sometimes it is so hot here in Trinidad, I end up drinking a lot more, but you do not need to drink an entire gallon of water. As a matter of fact, that might be a little too much for a lot of persons. I am very small, I am 4 feet 11, so drinking a gallon of water every single day is just a little too much for me, unless it is I am exercising a lot, I am sweating a lot, it's very hot, it's starting to rain. I am sorry. I kid you not, like the sun was out so beautifully. I mean, the sun is out a little bit, but it's starting to rain. I'm really hoping that it is not too loud, but make sure that you're hydrated. So if it is very hot, you're sweating a lot, maybe the work that you do, you're sweating a lot, yeah, make sure that you're hydrated. Again, as I mentioned about supplements, I also don't think it's absolutely necessary for you to buy a lot of electrolytes. Pink Himalayan salt, Celtic salt could suffice. I actually think that a lot of persons hype up these electrolytes a little too much, while it is you can just use some salt and get some of the electrolytes. Now here's the thing, if it is that you do certain blood works and you realize that maybe you do need to supplement with certain electrolytes, fine, go ahead and do that. But I do not think it's absolutely necessary for every single person. No, I would say that if you're on your weight loss journey, you need to prioritize your strength training and resistance training. If you know you have those 5-pound pink dumbbells and that's all you've been doing, bicep curls for months and months and months, and you have not been lifting any heavier, you're more than likely not building any kind of muscle. Like, I'm 100% sure. You need to consider progressively overloading. Now, it doesn't mean that one particular week you're lifting 5 pounds and then the next week you're lifting 20 pounds. That is why you progress slowly over time, increase the number of reps, increase the number of sets that you do, and increase the weights that you do. If it is that you are just doing these bicep curls with these 5-pound, you're not doing anything. You need to actually lift heavy weight and give your body the stimulus to build muscle. Now, I have lost all of my weight from doing my workouts at home, but I always advise persons to get a personal trainer, a fitness coach, so that you can get proper techniques. You can make sure that you have good form. You do not want to injure yourself. And the thing is, I have fallen, I guess, prey to some of those internet workouts where I think someone was, or I thought someone was reputable because they had certified this and certified that, until I actually did like proper research and I started trying to find reputable people who are coaches, who are personal trainers, who actually know what they're doing, science-backed information. It can be very hard to be deceived by some persons who maybe just genetically look good, or maybe even if they did lose weight and they actually end up exercising and doing certain workouts to have a particular physique, sometimes you still could be a little deceived because they actually give a lot of misinformation. So I want you to be very cautious when it is you go online to find workouts. Make sure that you don't just stick to one or two people. Search around and really try to find someone that is reputable, because you don't want to damage yourself. You want to have proper form and you want to make sure that you get the results that you want. Now, while it is you're focusing on high protein and high fiber meals, I also want you to focus a lot on your healthy fats as well, because it will help you with your hormones. Now, when it comes to weight loss, I know a lot of people say, well, I can't lose weight because I have PCOS, I'm going through perimenopause, I'm going through menopause, I have hormonal imbalances. But the thing is, a lot of persons don't realize some of the things that they eat or maybe refuse to eat, but some of the habits that they adopt actually affects their hormones. If you're not sleeping well, if you're not building muscle helps you a lot with your insulin sensitivity, your insulin resistance as well. So doing all of these healthy habits and eating all of these healthy foods can help you to balance out some of your hormones as well. Now, of course, again, if you do blood work and you realize after weeks or after a couple of months you have been sticking to healthy habits, healthy routines, doing everything right, and you do need to supplement with certain nutrients, certain vitamins, certain hormones, then of course go ahead and do that. But if you know you're just using that as a crutch to say, well, I have this particular medical condition, some of these things are actually reversible, or the effects and symptoms of it can be drastically reduced by adopting healthy habits. I love my avocados, I love my almonds. You can get fats from salmon, you can get your fats from different meats that you eat or different foods that you eat. I love sardines, that also has some healthy fats as well. Make sure that you're actually tracking what you're eating. I mentioned tracking before because it's important to know that you're actually eating the right amount of not just calories, but the vitamins, the minerals, the macronutrients and micronutrients, and of course making sure you have a healthy gut microbiome. Now, of course, I cannot talk about losing weight without talking about increasing your daily movement, and the easiest way to do this is by increasing your NEAT, your non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which makes up the majority of your TDEE, your total daily energy expenditure. Now, structured exercise makes up a very, very small amount, but when you look at your NEAT, it is the majority, and that is why a lot of people talk about making sure that you walk around 10,000 steps a day. Now, I always say, and it is very true, it's scientifically backed, even if you don't walk 10,000 steps a day, but you walk close to 8 to 9,000 steps a day, you can get a lot of the benefits of walking. Now, unless it is you have some mobility issues, walking is something that basically any and everybody can do. There's such a low barrier to entry when it comes to walking. You don't need to go to the gym, you don't need special clothes, you don't need any special equipment. buy a good pair of shoes and make sure that you're getting your steps in every single day. I know 10,000 steps may seem like a lot, but it takes about 10 minutes to walk 10,000 steps. I have found when it is I walk roughly 10 to 15 minutes after my meals, it helps out so much with my digestion, my bloating. It makes me feel a lot better rather than just sitting down on the couch after I eat. Walking for about 10 to 15 minutes after I eat my meals has been a game changer. And of course, I'm increasing my steps. Sometimes I may even walk like 30 minutes after I eat if I have the time, and that also really helps me out as well. I have been sticking to roughly 10,000 steps every single day, not to sound like a hypocrite, but it is so easy, and I have seen it help me out so much with burning that extra fat, because when it is you stick in the zone 2 area, you actually burn a lot more fat, obviously a lot more calories that you burn. Building muscle helps you out a lot, because even though you're not burning a lot of calories while you're strength training and resistance training, when it is you are at rest, that muscle on your body helps to increase your basal metabolic rate, which ultimately will help you to burn calories throughout the entire day. So you're building muscle, you're gaining strength, you're gaining endurance, you're doing your walking, you're doing zone 2 cardio, which is extremely important. You want to make sure that you're focusing on your cardio. For your cardiovascular health, it's not just to lose weight and build muscle, it's your overall health as well. So make sure that you're not neglecting your cardio. I really hope that these weight loss tips were helpful. Follow me on my fat loss journey. I will link a playlist so that you can see how things are progressing. I'm really happy with how things are going so far, and I really hope that you can implement all of these tips so that you can become the healthiest and best version of yourself.